I never thought I'd be the kind of person who would lose everything in 5 seconds. But that's exactly what happened the night my boyfriend looked straight at me and said, "I don't feel romantic feelings anymore." No yelling, no arguing, just quiet honesty. And somehow, that hurt more than screaming ever could. For a moment, I honestly thought I misheard him. My ears started ringing, my hands went cold, and my heart felt like it dropped into my stomach. I remember laughing nervously and asking him what he meant, because surely he didn't mean what I thought he meant. But he didn't laugh back. He just stared at the floor, rubbed his hands together, and repeated it slowly, like he was reading from a script he'd practiced in his head 100 times. "I care about you, but I don't feel that spark anymore." Those words still echo in my mind. We had been together for almost 3 years. 3 years of shared passwords, inside jokes, late-night phone calls, weekend plans, and dreams about moving in together someday. 3 years of me believing this was my forever person. And just like that, I became a memory in his life. At first, I couldn't even cry. I just sat there on the edge of the couch, staring at the wall while my brain tried to catch up with reality. He kept talking, explaining how he'd been feeling this way for months, how he didn't want to hurt me, how he thought it was better to be honest now than pretend. Months. That word hurt almost as much as the breakup itself. Months of him waking up next to me. Months of him kissing me goodbye. Months of him telling me he loved me while already emotionally packing his bags. I asked him if there was someone else. He shook his head. I asked him if I did something wrong. He said no. I asked him if we could fix it. He sighed and said he didn't think so. That was when it finally hit me. You can't fix someone who already decided to leave. Looking back, the signs were everywhere. He stopped texting me first. Our conversations became shorter. His hugs felt weaker. He stopped making plans for the future and started living only in the present. When I talked about trips we wanted to take or things we'd do together someday, he would change the subject. I told myself he was just stressed from work. I told myself every relationship goes through boring phases. I told myself love isn't always exciting. What I didn't tell myself was the truth. He was slowly falling out of love, and I was slowly losing myself trying to keep him. I remember lying in bed next to him some nights, staring at the ceiling while he scrolled on his phone, wondering when I became invisible to the person who once couldn't stop staring at me. I missed the way he used to pull me closer when I rolled away in my sleep. I missed how he used to send me random messages just to tell me he missed me. I missed the version of him that made me feel safe. And instead of walking away when I felt neglected, I tried harder. I started dressing nicer around him. I planned surprise dates. I sent sweet paragraphs. I gave him space when he asked for it, even though it hurt. I stopped bringing up things that bothered me because I didn't want to seem needy. I convinced myself that if I loved him enough, he'd feel it again. But love doesn't work like that. You can't love someone back into loving you. The night he finally said it out loud, we were sitting in our usual spot in the living room, the same place where we used to watch movies and talk about baby names someday. He wouldn't look at me while he spoke. He kept his eyes on his hands, like they were more important than my broken face. He said he still cared about me. He said I deserved someone who could give me everything. He said he didn't want to waste my time. Those sentences sounded kind, but they felt like knives. Because when someone tells you that, it usually means they already left emotionally a long time ago. I went home that night and collapsed on my bedroom floor. I didn't even make it to my bed. I just sat there with my back against the door, hugging my knees, shaking, trying to breathe through the pain in my chest. I checked my phone every few minutes, hoping for a message saying he made a mistake, hoping he'd tell me he loved me, hoping he'd come back. Nothing. The silence was louder than any argument we ever had. The days after that were brutal. I woke up reaching for my phone to text him good morning, then remembered there was no one to text anymore. I saw his hoodie hanging in my closet and broke down crying. Every song reminded him of me. Every place we went together felt haunted. I replayed every memory in my head, trying to find the exact moment he stopped loving me. I blamed myself for everything. Maybe I wasn't attractive enough. Maybe I talked too much. Maybe I wasn't supportive enough. Maybe I loved him too deeply. I analyzed every conversation, every argument, every quiet moment, searching for answers that didn't exist. What hurts the most about someone falling out of love is that there's no dramatic ending. There's no big betrayal. There's just one person still trying and another person slowly letting go. And the person who's trying always gets hurt the most. I remembered our first date, how nervous he was, how he held the door open for me, how he told me I looked beautiful even though I barely tried. I remembered our first kiss, how my hands were shaking. I remembered the night he told me he loved me for the first time and how I cried happy tears in my car afterward. How does someone go from that to feeling nothing? For weeks, I walked around feeling empty. I laughed with friends but didn't really feel happy. I ate but couldn't taste anything. I slept but never felt rested. My heart felt like it was carrying a weight it couldn't drop. But slowly, something changed. One night, I looked at myself in the mirror after crying for hours, and I barely recognized the girl staring back. My eyes were swollen, my shoulders were slumped. I looked small, and I realized something. I had been shrinking myself for someone who couldn't love me anymore. That was the moment I decided to stop chasing someone who already chose to walk away. Healing didn't happen all at once. It came in tiny pieces. I started taking long walks alone. I wrote everything I felt in a notebook instead of sending him messages. I muted his social media. I spent more time with people who actually showed up for me. I learned how to sit with my pain instead of running from it. Some nights were still hard. Some mornings I still missed him. But little by little, I started remembering who I was before I built my whole world around one person. And one day, I woke up and realized I hadn't thought about him first thing in the morning. That's when I knew I was healing. Now, when I think about him, I don't feel anger. I don't feel hate. I just feel acceptance. He was a chapter in my life, not the whole story. If you're listening to this right now and someone you love has told you they don't feel the same anymore, please hear me. Someone losing feelings does not mean you lost your value. Someone choosing to leave does not make you unlovable. You should never have to beg someone to see your worth. The right person won't wake up one day and decide they don't feel romantic feelings anymore. They'll choose you, even when things get hard, even when life gets boring, even when love requires effort. And if someone can look at you and say they don't feel it anymore, let them go. Because love should never feel like you're auditioning to be chosen. Sometimes heartbreak isn't the end. Sometimes it's the beginning of learning how strong you really are. And I promise you this, one day, someone will look at you with the same eyes you once looked at him, and they won't hesitate. They'll stay. They'll fight for you. They'll love you the way you deserve. And until then, choose yourself. Always.